think this is the first time I've actually breathed today. I thought I would try a better camera angle. That way you get desk and better lighting because there's a window right behind here. But there's no real light. That's got a sweet light there. This is gonna be interesting. So today was one of those days, one of the first days in college of me just like having a breakdown. I mean, I've done it with like homework and everything, because like chemistry homework and you're having a mental breakdown because that's due and whatever. But today I think this is the first time I breathed today, because it's been nonstop for the past more than 12 hours. If we count last night, like 18 hours. So I just want to talk through it, get it off my chest, because today was a day. But the morning came too early. And I was up by 8:30 and I had to get ready because I had so much today. I had so much today. So I went and got breakfast, a very much needed breakfast. So I got breakfast. I then got ready for class. I skedoodled over to class, but I couldn't sit still. So I went through the entirety of my history class just bouncing off the walls. Then I started planning 14 steps ahead of where I was, and I packed up all my stuff after the end of class, and I walked over to the first day of my job. And so I got there, I talked to my boss, she gave me a job, I did it in an hour, which was pretty sweet. And one of the best parts about the job is that my time spent there is for work, but if they don't have anything for me, then I get to study and get paid for it, because it's my time that I'm using at work. And so it was really awesome, and she was amazed about how fast I could do it. I got it done in about an hour, which was really nice. So I sat and I did homework, and we had a cute little meeting about like policies and whatever. And so that was a good start. But it was a calm day, like nothing super dramatic and everything. And I had to force myself to go to lunch because I really wanted to study, but like eating's important. So went to lunch, then went back to the dorm to study. Then I had 2 classes. I had chemistry and philosophy, which are hard classes. I mean, chemistry is just hard because it's just constant, and philosophy is hard because it just takes so much brain power. But the main thing about today was I had 2 auditions for 2 different acapella groups, and it was stressful. So he was trying out for the all boys and the mixed, and then I was trying out for the mixed and the all girls. So we both said that we would meet at his dorm at 5, and my class was done at 4:45. I didn't have time to walk all the way across campus and, change, get myself ready to go practice. But I walked all the way from the building I had class in all the way to my dorm, and I got up to the door and I went to go scan my card to let me in the building, and I didn't have it. And I was like, because I usually wear it as a lanyard, but it wasn't on my chest, and I was like, oh shoot, like what am I gonna do? So I ripped off my backpack, I'm searching through, and it's not in there. I was like, oh no. So I texted him, I was like, hey, maybe a couple minutes later. I left my card in my classroom. So I quickly walk all the way back across campus, and I don't take the elevator, and I would have, except for there was someone like standing there, and I don't want to make it awkward. So I ran up 3 flights of stairs, got all the way to my classroom, opened the door, looked under my chair, and it wasn't there. And I was like, oh, my teacher probably took it, trying to chase after me, and then couldn't find me, and then so all these scenarios are zooming through my head, and I go, oh, no. So I open my bag and I'm like, please, Lord, let it be in the bag. And I'm searching and I'm tearing everything out, and it's sitting in the main compartment of my backpack. And I was like, I mean, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. And I was just like, so I ran all the way back across campus. I quickly ran up to my room. I said hi to my roommate for like 6 seconds. And then I'm tearing stuff off. I'm putting clothes on. I'm grabbing all the things I need, like phone chargers and everything, because my phone was going to die. And then I was like 10 minutes late, which isn't bad, but for my heart, it was like, so I get to the practice. And for one of them, for the all girls, all I had to do was prepare a song. So I picked Heart of Gold by Mario Jose, which I sang for my show choir, which was why I picked it, because I knew it pretty well and everything. And then for the other one, and then they had stuff like picked out for me that like I couldn't bring, like they were giving to me. And then for the other one, they gave sheet music. And it was 4-part for Some Nights. And I'm really bad at the piano, but I had to sit there and like pluck out all of the keys. I'm really bad. And so I was like trying so hard to like figure it out, but I couldn't. And so I went there and I was just trying to just pluck them out so I could at least get like bass notes and I could fill in the rest. And the lovely boy who I was like practicing with wanted to get excited because he knew his part. And so he was getting excited, he was singing a song, singing some other songs to get him all excited, and I was having a mental breakdown. And I was like, oh, no. No. So I'm trying so hard, and finally he goes, I'm gonna go to dinner. Would you like to join me? And I went, I've already eaten, because I had lunch and like snacks and everything. And I was like, no, I still have to go print my resume, because I had to have a resume that I hadn't printed out yet, because I've never used the printers. And so I was like, thank you for the offer though, but I have to go print it. So I went and I had to figure out all the printers and everything, and I was using their computers because it was the easiest way, because if not I'd have to talk to people about my laptop and it wasn't worth it. So I finally printed. I put it in my bag very gently so it didn't crinkle. And I walked all the way back across campus, because nothing is by my dorm. But it was a farther walk past my dorm, over to the theater. And so I got there, and I was there like 20 minutes early. I was like, I have to be good. It's 20 minutes early. And so I was just pacing. Like I couldn't, like if I was sitting, I was shaking. And if I was standing, I was pacing. And I was panicking. And I just... It was 7 minutes until my audition, and I hear a girl go, Hannah? And I was like, so I like stood up and I started walking over, and she's like, I mean, you can go next because she's not here. And I was like, who did you ask for? And she goes, Hannah? And I was like, I'm Hannah. And she goes, oh, have you filled out one of these sheets? And I was like, I didn't know there were sheets. And she goes, well, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, so you just go ahead, grab a sheet, fill it out, and I'll come back in like 3 minutes. And I was like, okay. So I grab a sheet and I'm trying to fill it out really fast, because I don't want to be like her come out and go, Hannah, are you ready? And me be like, no, I'm not ready, I'm sorry. So like it was asking me of all of my experience, which of course is a very long line of like musical things, and it's like, what are you involved in? And at that moment I had forgotten everything I had signed up for, and I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, the 3 clubs I know that I did, I'm like trying to like fill in, but I don't remember most of them. And so I was like, so she comes out and she goes, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I hand it to her, and I go in there, and there are 4 people in there. And they're like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, of course I'm ready. Why wouldn't I be? And they're like, all right, so we're going to start with, we're going to test your range. And I was like, sick. Because testing your range is just, they hit a note and you sing it back. But what I noticed what they were doing was they would hit a note and then hit a note that wasn't like the next one. And it was like, they're doing my tonal memory. I was wrong. They were living their lives to the fullest. They tested my range and then went, okay, now we're going to do tonal memory. And I was like, okay, I guess. So we start, start doing tonal memory. And usually when you do tonal memory, it's usually like, it's not hard. This was hard. And it was like anywhere between these 2 octaves, they would hit any note. And it was like, because usually, like, in my head, I relate notes to other things, and then I can just, like, okay, so it's like this, 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 this. But I couldn't do it because the notes were just so different, and the first one I was okay at, but the other 3 I was just so bad, and I broke the theater rule, and I apologized, because like, in my head, I was just the worst. So I finished the tonal memory, and they were like, oh, that was so good, oh, that was perfect, blah, 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 which is always, like, a lie. And then they were like, okay, so now we're going to do sight singing. So they played the first note, they gave me 30 seconds, and I was looking at it, and in my head I went, I don't know. And I was like, I was so heartbroken because I didn't know. And I just like looked at it, and there was a sharp in there, and I was like, oh my goodness, like. So they played the first note. I did as much as I could. I apologized. I did it again. I then apologized. Everyone said, it's okay, it's okay. So they're like, all right, thank you, that was great. It was a lie. And they said, we're gonna do some nights. So we're gonna, all of us together, including like the people who were judging me, we were gonna all sing it together, which was nice. And then I was gonna sing it by myself. So the first time we go through, I'm pretty decent. I know the notes. I mean, I drop low or high some places. Then they go, all right, here's your first note. Go for it. It was horrendous. I mean, I got a couple parts. I knew the melody, so I got those, but it was just bad. And I was like, I felt so unprepared. I was just so frustrated with myself. Because I know how to sing. I know how to do tonal memory. I can sight sing. I just couldn't. So I left the auditorium. I thanked them, and I left. I called my best friend, and I was like, trying not to cry, which she's gonna watch this and like text me, but like, I wanted to cry so bad because it was so bad. I was so angry at myself. I should have spent more time and been more prepared. I should have went over sight singing and tonal memory and practiced with it, and I didn't. I was just so upset. So I was talking to her, and I had one audition at 6:30, and then the next one at 7. So I just stayed there. And so I was on the phone with her, and this girl comes up, and she's like looking around with like a piece of paper. She's kind of confused. And I was like, hold on. And she goes, are you Hannah? And I was like, yep, that's me. And she goes, oh, perfect. It's time for audition. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna, and I was like, I gotta go, bye. And I hung up. And so she was talking to me, and we were talking about classes, and she seemed really nice. So we went down the stairs and into the room, and it was just these 3 girls sitting, not at a piano or anything, just their laptops. And I just stood in front of them, and they were like, hey, tell us about yourself. And I was like, which is the worst question. Tell us about yourself is one of the worst things on earth, because it's like, oh, this is open to you. And it was like, do you want to know like about me? Do you want to know about my music? Because that's like what I'm auditioning for. Do you want my whole life story? And they were like, so I was like, my name's Hannah. I'm from Papillion. And I was like, do you want to know about like my music stuff? And they're like, sure. And I was like, all right, well, here's all the stuff I've been in and everything. And they're like, oh, cool, awesome. And I was like, yeah, not starting out very well. So that was how that went. And then they're like, okay, so first we want you to sing your song. So what did you prepare? And I was like, I'm gonna do Heart of Gold by Mario Jose. And they were like, okay. And I obviously never heard of him or that song or anything. And I was like, okay. And I had spent the whole day because I could never remember the lyrics. And so I started singing, and in my head I was 2 steps ahead so I could like sing the line I was going through, and then as I'm doing it I'm like remembering, which was nice. I got all the words right, and it's so beautiful. And it's a more choral piece, but I didn't mind because I'm a choral person. Like I can do the pop stuff, but like choral's my home. So I sang through the whole thing, and it's like a minute and a half. And so I sang through the whole thing, and I never looked them in the eye. Never look your judges in the eye. It's creepy. They looked just above them, and I sang the whole thing, and on the inside I was like, yes, 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 yes. And I finished, and I looked at them and I smiled, and one of the girls goes, that was so beautiful. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. And then they're like, all right, well, we're gonna do some sight singing. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And they're like, so I picked up the sheet, and they were like, okay, you're gonna listen to it first, which is not sight singing, by the way. It's call and response, but I'll take it. So I did the sight singing, and I did it decently well. You know, I'm never good at sight singing, but it was pretty good. So I'll take it. But the last thing that they wanted me to do was to test my range. And the thing about my range is I am a soprano 1, so I'm a very high soprano. And the highest note I can sing decently well is a B, like a high B, because I can. I don't know why. So they just kept going up and up and up, and I just kept singing them. And the last one, because in your head, you know, like, logically what the last high note is going to be, because, like, no one needs to go above that, especially for, like, an acapella group. It was the last one, and she dinged it, and I sang it, and I held it for just a little bit longer, because I'm already up there. Like, I haven't sang up there in a while, so I was like, I'm gonna show off a little bit. So I held it for just a beat longer, and then I was done. And she goes, wow, that was very high. And I went, yeah, I know. She's like, all right, now we're gonna go down. And I got like 3 or 4 notes down from middle C, because again, I'm all high notes. So they said I was done, and I thanked them for being there, and I wished them luck in all the other auditions, because they were auditioning until Thursday. And so I went upstairs and collected all my stuff, and that was it. I walked back to the dorm, I called my best friend, we talked for a while, and I didn't breathe until our conversation was over. Because it was just so much that I had to get off my chest it was just so much stuff today. It was just constant. And so today was just the first day of that. And I spent so much time today thinking about the future that I didn't live in the present. And that was one of the problems with today, was that I couldn't focus because I was so worried about my job and my auditions and all that. And it was a mess. But it's good to tell you guys. I'll tell you if I make it in either of the groups or not. Hopefully I make it in the all-girls acapella group. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, that's been my life for the past 18-ish hours. Like, comment, subscribble. That's how that's gonna be said now, is subscribble. So yeah, if you liked it, if you want to hear anything more, I mean, I have other stories. I've been at college for almost 2.5, 3 weeks, so like, there are stories there. If you want to hear more, I'm starting these will be called "And That's What You've Missed on Me." So it's super cheesy, but then that way people can know if it's like an informational video or like a video about me. Because, you know, some people, they just want like college tips and life tips and everything. And some people just want to know about my life. So like, that's what they'll be called. For at least now. You know, it might change like the handwriting will. So, yeah. If you've enjoyed, follow my social medias. The past video will be here. If not, I'll make it. Subscribe to me by clicking here. Follow my social medias, which will be here maybe, and if not, in the description. So yeah, follow me. You'll see the random stuff that I post. Some of it is nice and like theological and just such, and some of it's just me complaining about things. So go ahead, follow. Yeah, that's my life right now, and that's how college is. I'll see you when I see ya.